Hello and welcome to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. I have Angela here today, and I'm really excited because Angela and I got to connect earlier last week, and she took me through my human design, and she is just simply incredible. Before we get chatting, I want to introduce you to her. Angela is on a lifelong journey to live her life on purpose, like many of us, right? After years of trying to find the one right way, she realized that we are all unique and everybody's path is different. And so Angela uses tools like astrology and human design and gene keys to continually rewrite her story and also to help her clients rewrite their stories and find their path to living on purpose. Angela is a multi-passionate life, or has a multi-passionate life as a podcast host to her show, which is called Evolving on Purpose, as well as a full-time coaching practice using the tools that she's collected to give her clients the clarity, understanding, and tools to step into living their best lives. I love all of these. If you've not heard of human design or gene keys, we're going to dive into human design a little bit today. Astrology, you probably know a little bit about, but today specifically, we're going to be talking human design and how knowing our human design energy type can impact the way that we deal with burnout. So welcome, Angela.
Yes, thank you so much, Joe. It's so wonderful to be here.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled. And having had the opportunity to chat with you like firsthand and experience the magic of what you can do with charts, it's like, first off, I just want to tell everyone to go book a session with you. Like, it will literally change your life. I've had several readings on different things, and my time with you was so insightful and eye-opening and valuable. So thank you for that, first and foremost.
You're welcome.
Um, can we let's talk a little bit before we get into the human design about like how did you get into this work? Because it's not like a traditional career path. So like
Yeah.
what led you to this?
Yeah. So I came in with this kind of need to know why I'm here, right? Even as a little kid, I just remember being like, why am I here? What am I here to do? And just always having this kind of higher level need to have a purpose. And so that kind of transferred to loving things like self-development and listening to Oprah when I was very young and just all kinds of things like that. And always striving to perfect, right? Oh, do I have the right diet? Do I have the right this? Do I have the right that? Am I doing everything I can to be optimal, right? It was just always something there. And then I had the joy of having my grandmother was very psychic. She was the most like Christian woman. She walked herself to church every single day, even as a young person. She like had a really, really beautiful relationship with God, but she was also super psychic, right? Like she could literally hear people's thoughts when she was young. She kind of learned to tone that down, but she just could do anything. You could ask her, you could give her a name, and she could tell you all about that person. And that was really mind opening, right? Because I was growing up in middle America, in Iowa, small town Iowa, with, going to church and living kind of a normal life, but to have a grandmother that could kind of show you that there was more to life. Really opened up how we were raised and how we talked about different things and different religions and all of those things. So I always had that. And then I went off to college and kind of lost it all, right? So I'm not around family, and college is telling you, that religion is indoctrinating and, some of the things that you can learn about. And I kind of just lost all faith and just thought I knew everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very kind of dark and disconnected time to not have something. And then I'm just one of those people that goes out and learns, right? I'm always diving into things. So I went and joined the Navy, and then I came back and went to school, and then I found myself in this transpersonal psychology, like a graduate program, and they were teaching you about meditation, and you had to learn the Enneagram, and then we learned human design, and it was like, ooh, okay, these are some really beautiful tools, and I really fell in love with human design, and now astrology and gene keys. But all of these tools in my design is really designed to really see the highest potential in people and to find these tools and these things that can help highlight that for them, right? It's my design and I love it. And I'm glad that I found a really evolved way to do it instead of, um, I love coaching. I love the coaching that there are people that really want to help people and really want to make their lives better. But sometimes in the coaching space, we can see this is what worked for me. And it's a very like, this is what worked for me. If you do these steps, you'll get there. And human design gave me this compassion and this understanding for every path and every person, because we can really see that there are some people that can work and work and work, right? We can really see that there are these people that can really focus in on a routine, right? They're so good at routine. And there's all of these different things that now you can see why people feel like they're failures or they can't. I used to go to Tony Robbins back in the day and just be like, yeah, Tony, I'm going to burn the bridges. But I have an emotional wave and I don't just keep going like he does, right? And so it was
Same.
like, yeah. And so it was just so much understanding and it gave me compassion for myself and why maybe just jumping on board with some male hard charging coach wasn't going to get me there, and maybe what would help me to really get in alignment with myself, and then turn back on, because we'll talk about the different types. I'm a manifesting generator in human design, and a manifesting generator is supposed to be like the bunny, the energizer bunny that keeps going, right? And I was like, I am exhausted all the time. I go to my job and I lay on the couch and I'm like, what? Like I'm just exhausted by life. Well, then understanding my design and understanding when you're not in alignment, how you're draining the battery, you're not filling it up. And so it just helped me so much. And of course, the moment you learn it, and I have children, that are very busy, bills to pay. I had a full 9 to 5 job, and I'm like, okay, you're telling me what I'm supposed to do, but how do I get there? And it's just one step at a time. It's taking one little moment to say, is this really filling me up? Can I say no to this? And giving yourself one little thing that does light you up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just making those little tiny choices that keep compounding until all of a sudden you are living the day that you always wanted to live and the life that you always wanted to live. And I wouldn't even say I'm 100% there. I think it's always a journey,
Yeah.
but most every day is exactly what I wanted, right? Exactly what I wanted. And I got there one little step at a time, understanding myself, understanding my gifts, understanding, because my gifts are very unique. And I always wanted to just be like, why can't I just be like a doctor or a lawyer or something where I can just go in, because I do love knowledge and I love learning. Why can't I just go in and learn something and just be like one of those people, right? But it's not for me to have one narrow passion, right?
Right.
And so that can be very confusing. And so understanding that just helped me so much.
There is so much good in what you just said. I love how you explain it. And it gives us so much permission to be able to understand that we are unique. And, like your mama tells you, you're like, oh, you're one of a kind and no one's like you. And that's fine. But until you understand yourself, which takes a lot of soul searching and digging,
Yeah.
but finding tools like human design and frameworks like Enneagram and astrology and like all of these things can help us quickly or more quickly understand why we're here, what we're good at, what we're meant to do, why we struggle with things.
Yeah.
I love these tools so much. Can you tell us firstly, I mean, guys, human design goes deep, but we're going to start at the very surface level with the 5 different types of human design.
Yeah.
Can you, Angela, give us like the broad overview of what these types are?
Yeah.
And then maybe using my chart as an example, we can go in and see like, well, how can we use the knowledge that we get from knowing our type, even at a surface level, and
Yeah.
use it to help us in our day to day?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's start. So when I think about type, I think about your aura, right? It's not really personality. It's not, this is who you are. It's how does your energy interact with others? How does your energy interact with the world? And even this little thing, because there's only 5 types, right? So there's a lot of the same types out there, right? But even just understanding this can bring you so much further, right? It really is magical. So if we're thinking about the 5 types, we have really generators and then manifesting generators a subtype, but manifesting generators and generators are both sacrally defined. So if anybody out there knows the chakra system, the sacral is kind of that gut, that belly, you know? And so if you're defined there in human design, that gives us one definition of your aura. You create an aura that pushes out. That if we were looking at it, it's like a big blooming cloud around you, right? And when you walk into a room, people can kind of feel your aura. They can feel, what your energy is like right now. Is it buoyant or is it heavy? And so generators are 35% of the population, and manifesting generators are approximately 35% of the population. So 70% of the population are these generator types, right? And so when we know that you're a generator or a manifesting generator, what we know is you have to do things that you love that turn you on. So sacral is creation. It's being turned on, excited by life. And so when I talk about a manifesting generator and a generator, these are the people that could work 12, 16-hour days, right? These are the people that can work Monday through Friday and maybe even on the weekend if they love what they're doing. If they don't love what they're doing, they're trying to fire something up that's not fired up. Then they're pulling from other areas of their body to try to force. And then we're draining the battery, and that's how we get generator burnout, right? And everybody maybe pause this right now and go to just type in human design free profile and just pull it up so you know what you are, right? And you can, there are so many different platforms you can pull from. My human design is a really good one, but just pull it wherever. Free human design chart, pull up your chart, see what type you are. So if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, you have to be turned on by life. And you literally magnetize life to you by being turned on. If you're not turned on by life, excited by life, you're not drawing the right people, places, and things to you. So now we're not seeing the things we want to see, and we don't have any energy, and we're wondering why we feel stuck and burnt out and tired and why we're not creating the life we want. And so, like I said before, an easy way to start to fix this is by asking yourself, and everybody has to take out the trash and do the dishes. And, I have children. I have to go all weekend to sporting events, which I love watching them be excited. They're generators, right? This turns them on. They get to go do their dream. Like, I love that. But it can be exhausting. And so it's like, how many tasks am I going to do that I feel like I have to? Where can I ask other people to kind of do them or delegate? Where can I bring in some music, right? When I'm cooking or doing the dishes to kind of make it more of a lively, enjoyable thing. And even when I just first started, I didn't even know what music I liked, right? Because you got these little kids and they're listening to their Ninja Turtle
Totally.
music or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I don't even know what I like anymore, right? And so it's just asking yourself these little questions. Where can I find things? Maybe it's throwing in a pizza for your family and making yourself a really juicy dinner once in a while, right? Like getting some shrimp or some clams or like something exciting, right? And just making that for yourself and enjoying that. That's like I love food. So that's one thing that I do for myself sometimes. Or I go get myself sushi and let them do whatever without complaining. So just finding these little ways. And once you do that, you're going to find that you have more energy and you're going to find that you pull things to you. And when you start pulling things to you and making choices that are lighting you up, more things come, right? And so it's just this kind of snowball effect. So that's generator and manifesting generator. Generator is a yes, no. If they're well, we won't get too deep, but generators just got that sacral, and then the manifester has to the throat. So they have that manifester energy that they need to be lit up by several different things, not just one thing. So, okay, so then we'll move to projectors. Projectors are about 20% of the population. Projector, famous projector I know is like Barack Obama. He has that voice that kind of like projects out, and kind of this kind of quiet energy. Trying to think of another famous projector everybody would know, but it's this kind of bird's eye view where the person can see and understand where the energy needs to go. My mom's a projector, my stepdad's a projector, and they both are really good at directing. My mom had 3 generator children, and she'd always throw her arms out and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's figure out, like where we're going. She would slow the energy of the generators down, and let's focus our plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Projectors are really good at that. My stepdad's a project manager. He runs the build, right, for these giant buildings. And so he goes and he tells everybody what to do, and he comes home and takes a nap. He lives a projector life very well. He says no when he's tired. He's like, nope. If we're all over there and he's tired, he goes to his room, because projectors do not have a defined sacral. So it's not unlimited energy, right? It's like I can come and I can direct, and then I need to unplug and do what I want to do. And sometimes there's different levels of energy. You can be an energy projector, but it's such a focused energy. Like if you imagine a projector is like somebody that sees you so deeply. I don't know if anybody's into pop culture, but this one always interested me. I'm not a huge Kardashian fan, but Kourtney Kardashian started dating Travis Barker. And if
Okay.
anybody saw, he's a projector, and he would just like all eyes on Kourtney, right? And that's kind of that projector energy. If you're seen by a projector, it's like they're seeing through your soul. They can see very deeply. They lock in really good one-on-one. My mom always loves to take us out to lunch one-on-one, because then she can really focus her energy. And so a projector works really good for like 2 hours. And then if they could get up and leave the room, and maybe if they've got energy, go to the gym or go for a walk. If they don't, sit down in a corner and read a book or do something that just kind of unplugs them. And then they can get up and focus for another 2 hours, but they're so focused. They should never be focused for 8 hours. That's the most draining job for a projector, is 8 hours. I have to be focused. They're getting done more than any of the other people. They're so focused. So I would love if human design became more mainstream, and people were like, oh, yeah, this person's going to be so amazing for me for 2 hours, then give them a break. Then they can come back for 2 hours, and maybe they only work 4 hours a day, but they probably got done more than somebody working 8,
Yep.
But the projector, it's really because you don't have this sacral defined. It's about making sure you're not overdoing it, making sure you are unplugging, making sure you are taking time to rejuvenate and get out of the energy of all these generators that have this big energy that's kind of pushing on you. And so that's the projector. Then we have, and the projector, let's just do real quick. So the generator works and works and works and works. And at the end of the day, if they feel satisfied, like they accomplished something, that feels good to them, right? The projector is waiting for the invitation. So the projector has all this like knowledge, and they can tell you what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, and but you have to ask them for their knowledge. Because if you don't ask them, maybe you didn't want it, and then they tell you, and then they've wasted their beautiful knowledge on you, and it makes them feel a little bit of bitterness, or like, why does nobody listen to me? But if you ask them and then they give you that knowledge, you're appreciative of it, and then they feel successful. And that's what a projector wants, which is kind of funny because the projector is not supposed to work as hard as everybody else, but they want to feel successful so bad that they're working harder than everybody. So that's projector burnout for sure. But they just need to be asked. And the moment that they can know that they have this and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they'll find more people asking for it. And then they'll find more success and that feeling of like, ooh, I have people are appreciating what I have. And that will just change the whole dynamic of how they interact and how attractive they are to people. A projector that's really burnt out and they're just pushing just doesn't attract the right people. Then there is, we'll save manifester for last because you're a manifester and then we can kind of dive in. The other one is a reflector. It's only 1% of the population. So if you have a reflector child or you're a reflector, you're only 1% of the population. A lot of human design kind of forgets about you because there's not a lot of people. I always have had a reflector in my life. My best friend growing up was a reflector and is a reflector. And my best friend now is a reflector. And it's such a beautiful energy because the reflector has all centers open. They are a different person every day almost. They get lit up by the different energies around them. But they're really kind of, I always think of them as the consultant. They can walk in a room and know if the energy's good or not. But they're very sensitive to the energy and they're really good at knowing how to shift it or what's right for them and what's wrong. But if you're not listening to that, if you're trying to live in the regular world, reflector is a pretty tough place to be, right? But if we can just start doing a little deep dive, but be very careful because sometimes there's a lot of disempowering messages out there, and I don't think any type, any chart is disempowered at all. They have a superpower. And so reflectors are super powered, like I love getting to see these reflectors. One of them, my childhood best friend, she's my cousin. She's in not a healthy environment and I can see that. And the other one is in a healthy environment and I can see that. So their environment and the people around them are the most important thing. Do they light you up? Are they listening to your feedback? Do you feel healthy, right? Because they're kind of in a tribal community. They're the one that reflect the health of the tribe. So if you're not healthy, your tribe isn't healthy. And then we have manifestors. Manifestors is the just do it, right? So when Nike came out with that just do it, when all of these entrepreneurs and things like that say just do it, just go and make things happen. That's really only for manifestors. There's only 8% of the population that is a manifestor, approximately. And so we've had a lot. Manifestors get shut down in a lot of ways because they're not generators and they can't work unlimited hours. But then generators get told they should be manifestors and just go create, and they shouldn't. So if we could just clarify that just a little bit. So the manifestor, they don't have the sacral lit up like the reflector and the projector, but they have a channel to the throat, and that's a manifestation channel. And that's a person that's really here to download inspiration and then go do it, right? And so when a manifestor is lit up, they're like lit up at 200% and they have all this energy to go create something. And then when that energy's done, it's like, don't try to force it, right? Let's go do something else or go relax. So sometimes manifestors feel lazy. They can feel like their power is pushed down, especially if as children you weren't allowed to rebel. I think about my cousin that's a manifestor. She would just like walk out the door. Mom would be like, no, where are you going? Whatever, Mom, I'm going, like just no qualms about it. Like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go do it. And obviously there's some safety concerns with a manifestor child that wants to do whatever they want. But if it's not a safety concern, allowing them to have that inspiration and have that autonomy is really important for a manifestor. So you'll notice manifestor children usually kind of are speaking what they want to do and go do it. So the manifestor is here to kind of inform, and that's for everybody else because you can't really feel where a manifestor is going. You're like, what are they going to do? What are they going to say? You're just like kind of a little bit on edge with a manifestor, but you're like kind of drawn to them at the same time. And so you just need them to say, this is what I'm going to do. And then you can either get on board or get out of their way, which is very important. Because a manifestor's not self is anger. Like, get out of my way. Like, I'm trying to get something done. And the self that when they're feeling really good is peace, right? Because they went and they created what they wanted, and then they unplug and they feel good about it. And they want peace.
Mhm. Yeah, that rings so true for me.
Yeah.
And I can imagine as people have been listening to this amazing explanation of each of the energy types that they are placing themselves in one bucket or another. And then, which is either validating so much for them if they've already done like a quiz, or
Yeah.
is inspiring them to go and do it and see like, oh, am I really the one that I thought I was? You know?
Yeah.
Ah, so,
Yeah.
so good. Um, is there like, I guess for the majority of people, right, generators and manifesting generators, the world is kind of built for them. And right, like our 9 to 5, Monday to Friday kind of revolves around that. But are there ways that people who are not a generator or a manifesting generator can make small tweaks to their schedule or their lifestyle to allow them to sort of take those breaks and step back and be invited in, depending on like where they're at?
Yeah. So for sure, manifesting generators and generators, they have that ability to work those long hours, but they still have to be lit up. So if you're doing a job that you don't love, that's still a problem, right? And even if you don't love the job, finding things that you do love about the job and putting energy there, or trying to find a way to kind of ask the boss, can I focus here? In a perfect world, would the projector kind of be the manager and the manifester would be the like CEO that kind of had the idea for the company, and the generators all love the company and they come and they work, right?
Right.
And then you have a reflector that's like, the energy's off here. I think we need to make some tweaks. People are unsatisfied, right? So that would be a perfect world, right? We don't live in a perfect world. We all have to make a living. So for a generator and a manifesting generator, just making sure you can find something that you love about the job, not pushing too hard in things that you don't love. The projector, like I kind of alluded to, if you can talk to your boss, if you can figure out any way, or even if you just focus for an hour, get up, walk around, go. I used to work at a 9 to 5 for a long time, and I would go walk around the building every hour or 2 hours, right? Something like that. Can you get out of the space of the generators and take a walk and unplug for a minute and just, either have discussion or figure out a way to make this work for you? For the manifester, it is a tough thing because if you're not allowed to have that inspiration and speak it, so just trying to find yourself in a place where people do value your inspiration, where you can kind of have that insight and fire off. And then when you're not feeling inspired, try to find some space to kind of unwind and to but really focusing on the manifestor is fire, right? Their fire starter. Like, where can I light fires under people? Where can I help them to get fired up? And you're the cross of education like I am. So where can my knowledge and where can I educate people and share what I know? I think it's all about just finding little tiny places that you can feel that you're in alignment, and then that will keep growing, right? And as we grow it, then we can really, I mean, I'm all about, I think everybody should just create the life of their dreams. I literally had somebody on, if you go to my YouTube channel, that creates kitty minis. She
Wow.
literally knits kittens and has a group of people that she sends the material and they knit kittens together. And this is her passion and her job. And then she goes and sells them places. Like,
I'm so on
get
board
it.
with this. Yeah. We all need to find our kitten and
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
choose life that aligns with us, that feels supportive, that feels energizing in the
Yeah.
ways that you need it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if we're moms out there, right?
Yeah.
You probably have a lot of moms listening to this. Understanding your child's human design.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me so happy that I get to feed my children. I have a generator that's very focused and he's the cross of penetration and he goes after it, right? And then I have a manifesting generator Pisces son that's into this and into this and into this. And can you imagine as a mom telling him, why can't you be more like your brother? Why can't you focus? Right?
Right.
And instead I'm like, you're perfect. I love, ooh, that's a great idea. I know as a manifesting generator myself that if I wouldn't have been told over and over and over again that the grass isn't always greener, that's what I was
Mhm.
always told. The grass isn't always greener because I would get so lit up by different things.
Right.
If I wouldn't have made that a bad thing, that I can't commit, can you imagine how much faster I would have found the things that I love and felt okay to do it?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
What a
it's a
gift.
wonderful thing. Yeah.
It's such a gift to be able to give our kids and ourselves, of course. If people who are listening are as lit up, maybe the generators, right? They're as lit up as me about this. How can they get in touch with you? How can they book a reading and learn from you and understand more?
Yeah, so my website is just evolvingonpurpose.org. I do have my podcast you can listen in. I have a YouTube, Evolving on Purpose. But if you want to book a reading, it's my joy to show people what their gifts are and give them so much clarity. Astrology is kind of the map, so we can kind of see where you're at. What are some big transits that are coming up? Why are you feeling the way you're feeling right now? And how do we utilize this information? Human design is just like understanding, like, how does your energy work? What can we do to get in alignment? And then I love teaching people a little bit about gene keys so they can go and self contemplate, because gene keys are very much a contemplation. But yeah, anybody can book a reading. I have a full reading where we dive into all of those, dive deep, or I have some astrology offerings. If you don't see what you want, I always say email me, because I just love working with people, whether it's a family reading or a couple reading, or I love working with people to help them utilize this in the way that it works for them. So just email me and we'll figure something out, if you're wanting a certain thing. But yeah, you can book on my website, and I do it all via Zoom. So anywhere in the world
Mm,
you can book,
that's-
and
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And again, highly recommend that you guys go do that. Um, even if you've never had an experience or a reading in any kind of framework before, this is a really cool place to start because it incorporates um, information from all different kinds of systems, and just provides such clarity and understanding. So, Angela, thank you for being on the podcast. It has been such a pleasure to connect with you. And I know that this episode really gave a lot of clarity to a lot of the listeners. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on and letting me share.